Hello everybody, welcome to the 6th video in our series, Aircraft Crash Investigations. I'd like to thank everybody for the support that we got recently on one of our most successful aircraft investigation videos, with over 50 views. If you enjoy these videos and would like to see more, please like and subscribe, and we're going to make more videos every day. Thanks, and let's get started. Today we will be looking at TAM Airlines Flight 3054. The aircraft used in this incident was an Airbus A320-233 and was flying on a regularly scheduled flight from Porto Alegre to Sao Paulo in Brazil. The aircraft departed from Porto Alegre at 5:18 local time and soon climbed to a flight level of 34,000 feet. The flight was not a very long one, and so already preparations for landing were being made. This flight was only a 1 hour and 30-minute flight. About 1 minute after takeoff, the aircraft began its long approach to Congonhas Airport in Sao Paulo. It continued to descend slowly, and everything seemed normal as the aircraft moved towards its landing position. At 6:43, the pilots began to perform the landing checklist. Flaps were being deployed and the gear was lowered in preparation for landing. However, this is where some things went wrong. For some reason, the aircraft was unable to maintain a proper roll, but this was not severe and the landing continued. At 6:47, the flight was cleared to land on runway 35L in Sao Paulo. Everything looked just fine and the aircraft proceeded to make a soft landing. But things began to go wrong fast. The aircraft was starting to shake on the ground and was turning almost uncontrollably. The aircraft started to turn to the left, and what happened next shocked the world. The aircraft failed to slow down in time and easily overshot the runway. It kept going off of the runway for more than 10 seconds until it slammed into the TAM Express building, which was just in front of a busy road. The death toll of this incident was 187 people on the aircraft, which was all people on board, as well as 12 people that were killed on the ground. This meant that 199 people were killed in this accident. Landings at this airport have proceeded normally in the future, but there have been some incidents similar to this. However, there was nothing this bad in this airport. Here's what the final minute of flight looked like. As you can see, the aircraft was shaking severely and overshot the runway by turning left, where it proceeded to slam into a building. Analysis. How did this crash happen and how could it have been avoided? First, if we look at the airport, the runway at this airport was 1,940 meters long, which means it was only 6,360 feet long. Even though this might seem like it's a very long piece of pavement, this is not very long for these kinds of aircraft. Also, prior to the accident, there was a runway refit at this airport. This runway had been a troublemaker previously, as it caused aircraft to drift off of the runway and failed to slow down due to wet weather. While this runway was under renovation, the Brazilian aviation crisis of this year was continuing, so the runway remained open to allow flights to flow back and forth. Just one day before the crash, on July 16th, 4 pilots who landed at the airport reported bad braking. This included a TAM pilot, and he managed to stop his aircraft just a few meters before the end of the runway. Immediately, an investigation should have occurred into why it was only able to stop a few meters before the end of the runway, but operations continued. They only paused operations at this runway for 3 minutes and cleared it after reporting no puddles. Just 10 minutes after the 3-minute closure, another aircraft failed to slow down and it veered off the runway and hit a concrete box. The aircraft was damaged beyond repair and scrapped. Despite the incident, there were no further investigations and landings continued. However, on this day of the crash, nothing looked wrong. Everything looked normal as the aircraft flew over the Atlantic Ocean to prepare for landing. As the aircraft approached Congonhas Airport, it was cleared to land on runway 35L. After the aircraft touched down without any incident, it failed to slow down normally and veered sharply to the left, and it departed the far end of the runway at 100 miles per hour. The runway is slightly elevated in the surrounding area, so when the aircraft flew over it, it flew over a neighboring road and crashed into the TAM Express building. This area was a very busy street, so there were many injuries in the surrounding area. It flew over and crashed into the TAM Express facility, which caused a large fire to spread throughout the entire region. It was also located near to a gas station, which made matters worse. When we look at what was going on in the cockpit, we can see that at the moment of touchdown, the spoiler lever was in the armed position. According to the system of the A320's flight controls, the spoilers will only automatically deploy on touchdown when armed, only if the thrust levers are at the idle position. This is where the captain went wrong. One of the flight levers was at the CL position, which meant that it was still forward because they believed that the auto throttle would take care of it. However, the auto throttle was disabled as soon as they lowered the left thrust. So when the auto throttle was disabled, it was not able to lower the right thrust. This meant that during landing, the left engine was set to idle, and the right engine thrust level was still at the climb level, which meant that it had far more power than the left engine. It was almost at full power. This caused the aircraft to swerve dramatically on the runway, and the spoilers were unable to deploy, which meant that it was not able to slow down either. This, as well as the combination of the wet runway and poor design, led to the crash that killed over 180 people. The death toll of this incident was 187 people on the aircraft, which was all people on board, as well as 12 people that were killed on the ground. This meant that 199 people were killed in this accident. There is little to no information about the pilot and co-pilot in this incident, so I will not be able to provide that information to you. However, all we can say is that I think this accident could have been avoided if the pilot and co-pilot had more experience and lowered the throttle level. However, this was not entirely their fault. In the previous months before this investigation, there were many other incidents in this region, including one that wrecked another aircraft. The Brazilian authorities should have taken notice as soon as that first incident was reported, so they can reschedule any flights and redesign the runway so crashes would be averted. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We're going to make videos like this every day, so please stay tuned. Comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see more. And until then, SFS Launch out.